The guard's powerful Vox transmitters were only a short walk from the bunker situation room. Inquisitor Volt led the way, with Sternmark pacing only a few steps behind him. The stormtroopers stationed at the door shouldered their hell guns and admitted them without a word. Inside, Volt surveyed the crowded room. Half the space was given over to humming Vox consoles, where soldiers hunched over flickering CAD codes, screens, and read of messages from sheets of flimsy parchment passed from the war room across the hall. The rest of the dimly lit room contained rack upon rack of transmitters, receivers, and power supplies. The stink of ozone hung heavy in the cramped space. Nodding in satisfaction, he dismissed the on-duty Vox operator and tech priest with a murmured command. When the door had shut on the last of the men, the Inquisitor walked over to the central console and began adjusting the frequency controls on the system's orbital relay. Sternmark put his back to the door and folded his arms. For once he was glad to not have the watchful eye of the Skald boring into his back. A sense of despair gripped him. He could not shake the feeling that the situation was spiraling out of control and nothing he could do to alter its course. "You don't have to do this," he said grimly. "It is now or never," Volt replied, fine-tuning the frequency. "You said it yourself. There is virtually no chance that any of us will return from this mission. I must set things in motion before we depart." "That's not what I meant," Sternmark said. "It's too premature to call for Exterminatus." Volt turned to face the dour space wolf. "Do you think I'm doing this lightly? I've been an Inquisitor for 150 years, and do you know how many worlds I have condemned? None. Not a single one." The Inquisitor took a step towards Sternmark, his bandaged hands trembling. "There was always another way to deal with the traitors and save the innocent. Always. We always found a way." He took a deep, shuddering breath. "But not this time. The enemy was too well prepared. We worked for years, slowly penetrating the governor's household and the PDF hierarchy, but they were aware of us the entire time. When the traitors finally revealed themselves, my friends were the first to die." Volt's face grew haunted, his gaze turning inwards as he relived that bloody night in the capital. He shook his head. Now there's nothing left. If you don't succeed on the Shadow World, then it's only a matter of time before your positions are overrun. Volt regained his focus at the start, like a man walking from a nightmare. "We have to be prepared for that eventuality." Sternmark tried to formulate a reply, but the Inquisitor turned his back on the Wolf Guard and keyed the transmitters. "Home gang, this is Citadel," Volt said, using the code name for the planetary headquarters. "My authorization is 5 Alpha 5 Sigma 9 Epsilon. Please respond." For several long moments, nothing emerged from the Vox unit except for the ghostly hiss of static. Then faintly, a voice replied, "Citadel, this is Home Gang. Countersign is Gamma Alpha 74 Omicron Beta. What is your message?" The battle barge and her surviving escort had been hiding out in the asteroid belt for weeks, powered down and maintaining Vox silence to avoid detection. Volt had insisted that the ships be held in reserve once it had been clear that losses were mounting against the Chaos Fleet. The barge's powerful barrage cannons and cyclonic torpedoes were a force of last resort in the event that the Imperial defenders on Caris were overwhelmed. Volt took a deep breath and invoked the wrath of the Holy Inquisition. "Implement tripwire," he said. "Acknowledge." Silence hung heavy in the air as the signals crossed the void. Finally the voice replied, "Tripwire acknowledged. Home gang out." The Inquisitor slowly reached up and switched off the transmitter. "Mark the hour," he said to Sternmark. "From this day forward, the all-clear code must be sent at exactly the same time." He turned to Sternmark, and his expression was bleak. "If you, or Athelstan, fail to send the code, the ship's master will assume that the headquarters has been overrun, and by order of the Inquisition, Charis will die."